What's poppin', yo? Welcome back to another YouTube video. Today we're taking a look at another film review, or a show review this time, because we are going to be taking a look at the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Next Mutation, which is a TV show which did air on Jetix. I don't know, it's a dead channel now, but it's a channel that aired on sort of American TV. It also aired here in the UK. It was sort of like Sky that had it on their sort of TV selection, and it was supposed to be a continuation of the sort of original 3 films, but they ended up cancelling the 4th film, and I will do a whole video on that later on. But this was what we got instead, because the title of the 4th film was supposed to be The Next Mutation, but we got this instead. And to be fair, I quite enjoyed this. I thought I did make this up as a kid, because I don't hear a lot of people talking about it, but what really brought it to mind was going to CEX and selling these to them. The CEX in the Manchester Arndale, going there and just selling them. I saw them again, I'm like, oh god, and the LOL and the worker there didn't know what they were, so I had to sort of explain what it was to them. So here it is. It is the Ninja Turtles Next Mutation. So basically, the Turtles have a secret sister called Venus, and she has special powers. She can go into people's minds in meditation, so can Splinter, and Splinter is being haunted and gets put in a coma. Venus goes into Splinter's mind, sees what Splinter's being haunted by, and tries to help him. She's teaching Leo how to use all this, like, chi, chakra, all this sort of energy, and how to use it, how to work it, and how to rescue Splinter. And he's struggling to learn. He's the only one that's keeping at it, though. Raph, Mikey, Donnie all give up, because, again, Donnie, being the tech genius, doesn't believe in it. Mikey, he's the scatterbrains. He can't stay focused on it for long enough. Raph, he's the rough one. He's getting annoyed that it isn't working straight away. He's getting annoyed that he can't do it. So that all of them 3 do give up, and they do leave Leo to do it. Venus does have a father. She comes from China, and she does have a father there. And her father gets killed by a dragon who comes out of an ancient mirror, because he's trapped in the mirror dimension, and he sends Venus to New York to find her brothers. And here the brothers are. And these brothers look scary as fuck, because this is live action. So they're all in these sort of rubbery suits, and it is the only iteration of the Turtles where they're all wearing sort of like do-rags. Like Leo and Donnie are wearing do-rags. Mikey isn't. His sort of goes under his chin, and Raph's is all ripped and tattered and ripped to shreds. So this is an iteration of the Turtles which don't really contribute much, and most people try to forget about from Turtle history. I didn't know it was that hated. I had it on DVD. I loved it. I really enjoyed watching it on a night before I went to bed. I just slapped the DVD in, press play, and let's go. It didn't really have much to do with like the other 3 Turtles. It was mainly a Venus and Leo storyline. So it is, again, another focus on Leo in the Turtles history. Again, that is rain, so I do apologize about that if you do hear that in the background. The lair looks really cool. I do like how the lair's designed in these live-action ones. It's just so sort of wild with all the sort of stuff that they managed to fit down there. And it's just surprising that a sewer worker hasn't stumbled across them, because I swear someone would have stumbled across them at some point. But we do have the Shredder and the Foot Clan, who do end up meeting these guys. They do end up with a big fight. And then we have the Dragon people, who do come out of the Dragon Dimension. They get freed, and they... Alright, do correct me if I'm wrong. Either Shredder turns into the Dragons, or the Dragons replace Shredders in this world. I do forget which way around it goes. But, again, the main villain is dragons. They're fire-breathing. They're, again, mutants, so stronger than these guys, and more sort of advanced. So it is more of a fight for these guys, and it is a Power Ranger-esque show. These fights are very dramatic. and all the characters are being launched around everywhere, which is sort of fitting because they did have a collaboration with the Power Rangers at some point after this. But again, there's not much to talk about. There's only one season, so it didn't obviously do that well. It was on a very low budget, like, TV channel, and its own sort of studio. The Turtles designs do look really cool. I do like the sort of belts that they have and how the name tag is higher up on their chest instead of on their waist. I like that they have the colored knee pads and elbow pads and faces. The voices are pretty cool as well. The suits are pretty shitty. The mouths don't move as much, but it is, again, reminiscent of the first two before they started turning into, like, animatronics, so they could get more mouth movement. And the people did give away some, like, signed postcards, like the people in the suits. In this one, Raph also has a motorbike, and this series does kick off with Raph on the streets fighting the Foot Clan with a motorbike. It is fucking epic. It would have done a lot better if it was animated, but it was fucking sick to see him fighting with a motorbike. And they do get called out on a mission. Mikey, Donnie, Leo are in the van, and then Raph goes on his bike. I think it's cool how they give Raph his own bike. I just like the fact that Raph fights with a bike. I just think that's cool. And he's hot-headed. He does like to go on his own. He does sort of have a bike, and he did have the bike in the original film. And I do believe he has a bike in the original TV show as well. So Raph, being a biker guy, has always been in the Turtle lore to some degree. We have a cool, couple of sets. There isn't too many. We sort of mainly see them in a park, in a science lab, at the Dragon Lair, or at the Turtle Lair. There isn't many other backdrops or scenes that you really see them in. It's just a handful of locations that they travel between, and that's okay. Like, it is a small budget film compared to the rest of them. We do also have a weird recurring joke that Leo's struggling to break a brick, and he just keeps karate chopping it and hurting his hand. He just keeps trying to break this brick, and it does show progression, because once he does the Venus sort of training, he learns how to break the brick. I guess he gets self-control, self-confidence and stuff like that. He works on his inner self, and that's how he has the power to break it. I don't really know. It didn't really explain it. He just sort of grew into being able to do this. Venus did have some, like, they were saying, ooh, girl turtle. Girl turtle. There's a girl turtle. And there was a little bit of, hey, she's mine. I get to hit on her first when she first met. And then once they realized she was their sister, it was like, oh shit, sorry, didn't mean that. No, we didn't. It's not our fault. But there is a cool design with her headband. She has it braided like a ponytail, which I think is quite cool and unique. Just gives her more design and makes her look a lot different compared to the other turtles. She does also have a more feminine build, and she doesn't have weapons. She fights with, like, chakra in her fists. I am a little upset that she does have a blue colour. I wish she had a different colour from the Turtles, because blue was already taken by Leo, so giving her a lighter blue just seemed repetitive. But she does have the biggest connection with Leo, so I do see the design choice behind it. I would have just preferred, like, a different colour, like maybe a nope, Donnie's purple. Maybe like a pink, or a brown, or a black, even a yellow. Just a lighter blue just seems repetitive. Like, there is so many other colours out there that you could have chosen to have. Like, we have two of the, like, core colours, and that's it. We need a third. But we do have Shredder here in his big background. We did have the turtles sneaking around in the roof up there. But the costume design for this is really cool. I do like how all the turtles look. People say that the live-action turtles look creepy. I don't think they do. I thought they looked quite cool. I thought they did a really good job with these suits. I don't know. I guess I'm just a weird one for that. But I thought they were really cool. And the Shredder was the biggest suit disappointment, in my opinion. He just looks the worst. Given how better the film Shredder's design was, I don't know why they downgraded to this so much. I think they spent a lot more money on the dragon design, and I think they knew they were going to. And that's why they sort of cheaped out on Shredder to begin with, because this is his literal base design that he goes to, the dragon here. And he does sort of keep the top of his helmet on his head, and then the rest of it is just a red robe. But he still does look menacing with his facial features and his fire breathing, so I don't put anything past that. The acting and the fighting is really good. It's so well choreographed, and the action sequences, they are Power Ranger-esque with very over-the-top sort of movements, but it is still entertaining and good to watch. The jokes, the quips, the voice acting for the Turtles is also really good. The dialogue is nicely done. There is some points where it's like, did you really have to say that? That's kind of cringe. Ew, that's an outdated joke. That's in here. A couple of them moments with some of the lines from the Turtles and some of the lines from the villains as well, like with some really bad puns and some really bad jokes, which we did get like an opportunity for them to pause so we could laugh at it, but it just sort of had like 2 seconds of awkward silence, which was kind of... Again, it just reminds me of Power Rangers, because it was made by the same people that made Power Rangers, which, again, it's another iteration of the Turtles, made by a different person to fit their own thing. It's a new version of the Turtles that we haven't seen before. It's more Power Ranger-like. It's more mystic and to do with energy and chakra and dimensions, something that's rarely seen in Turtles, and it's just a new take on them. And I like that. I like seeing everybody try and have a new take on the Turtles, because it just makes something different to learn about them, and there's always something new to add to them. It's Turtles. It's not, you can do whatever you want with these guys. It's so cool. They fit into pretty much anything. They're even in Mortal Kombat and DC, what is it? DC Injustice, that's it. I just can't get over how good these costumes and sets look. It gives that such nice nostalgic aesthetic for like really crappy TV sets like Friends and stuff like that. It just looks nostalgic, and it doesn't look like a movie or anything like that. It doesn't need to be good. Like, as long as there's a good story, it doesn't need to look like the best thing in the world. Like, the CGI aspects where there's a head in the mirror, or they have glowing eyes, or they're breathing fire, does look slightly off-putting because of how jarring and, like, off it looks. But that can't be helped because of the time this was made. CGI wasn't that good. So they would try to implement it into the series, and I think that the budget could have been used better elsewhere, or they could have tried to sort of do it in real life by putting lights in the suit, or putting or making real fire, if that makes sense. It just makes the series look a lot better and look a lot more complete and finished, rather than trying to implement as much CGI as you can because it's the new and upcoming technology. But I do get their excitement behind CGI, because look at how far we've come. We've had fully fledged CGI Turtles now for 2 whole films. But yeah, it is one of the worst iterations of the Turtles, and I am going to put it as the worst live-action Turtles. But it is still a good watch, and I do recommend you watch it. I am going to give it a 6 out of 10. It isn't as bad as what everyone says, and I do have a lot of fond memories of it, so it could just be nostalgia, or it could actually be really good, and I'm on the fact that it is really good, and it does have its flaws. Everything has flaws, don't get me wrong, but this iteration of the Turtles is still a good one, and one that should be included and talked about more, because trying to forget it exists, I think, is really unfair on the people, because it is still a pretty good show.